Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News for Monday, March 2nd, 2026. Stand up for your country. I don't know why anybody was surprised when Saturday morning the announcement came that U.S. and Israel attacked Iran. Why would you be surprised? I mean, for weeks, President Trump was saying, look, we want to make a deal with these people. They got to stop their nuclear research, and they have to downgrade their ballistic missile capacity. And if they don't, then we're going to have to force them to do that. How many times did the man have to say that? And then, it shows you how distracted many people on this planet and in this country are. They don't know what the deuce is happening. And don't believe the polls. There's a bunch of polls out, snap polls after, we're opposed. These people who are being queried don't know anything. And then, I hate to be supercilious about this, word of the day, but you're talking to people who have no idea about why things happen or even what's happening because they don't consume information. They live in a bubble, which is becoming an increasing problem for the world. And the totalitarians love that. The less you know, the more they like it. Okay, let's go to the talking points memo about Iran. This is very important that you guys understand the big picture here. And again, if you disagree or want to know more, bill@BillO'Reilly.com. bill@BillO'Reilly.com. Name and town, please. All right. So President Trump made brief remarks today, said that the military mission's ahead of schedule. I don't know what that means. I do know that the Pentagon, which is really in charge of the operation, and President Trump's in charge, but the Pentagon's calling the shots, want to downgrade the ballistic missile situation whereby Iran would not be able to fire missiles at Israel or any of the Arab countries they don't like or anybody else. So that may take some time to locate all of those missiles and blow them up. In the meantime, the allies, and there's just two of them, Israel and the USA, are after the people who are murdering the Iranian protesters, the people who want freedom. So they are being hunted. And I understand about 50 of them have already been eliminated, including the top mullah, as you know. Okay? They're all conferring with Allah even as we speak. Now, 4 Americans are dead in Kuwait. I spent some time in Kuwait in the first Gulf War reporting. Huge base over there for the USA. Some things went wrong, but this isn't a concentrated effort on the Iranians' part to kill American soldiers. I'm sure they'd like to, but they don't have the capacity to do it, which is pretty shocking if you think about it. I mean, here you have these mullahs threatening to blow up America and Israel. They can't even get a plane off the ground. I think they got one off in Oman, shot it out of the air. They don't have the capacity to wage this kind of war. They can build roadside bombs. They can blow up women and children. That's not hard. But to wage war against powerful military machines like the USA and Israel, they can't. That's important that you know that. This is all bluster. This is all BS. Okay? They cannot launch any effective resistance to what America is doing. Very important. What they can do is mobilize terrorism. And that is President Trump's biggest challenge. Because you got a lot of people here who are sympathetic to the jihad. Thank you, Joe Biden. Okay? They're here. And one of them acted out in Austin, Texas. 2 dead down there, a bunch wounded. And the guy's dead, but it looks like this guy was tied into the jihad. He's from Senegal. Anyway, it's political now, as everything is. So this is another important thing. The most important thing you have to understand today is Iran has no capacity to defend itself. And the United States is going to take full advantage of that and try to get a new regime in there. I don't know. Nobody knows. Whether that'll be successful or not, it's up to the Persian people. Second thing you need to know is the Democratic Party is going to oppose everything that Donald Trump does. It doesn't matter. The cliche is cure cancer, they'd oppose it. It's true. Now, Senator John Fetterman and a few Congress people, including my congressman here on Long Island, Tom Suozzi, they've supported the Iranian action. But by and large, the Democratic Party and their media enablers, the corporate media, will oppose everything that Donald Trump does. Now, it makes them look stupid, and we'll demonstrate that in a moment, but they don't really care about that. So tomorrow, Secretary of State Rubio, Defense Secretary Hegseth, CIA Director Ratcliffe, and General Dan Kane, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, are going to brief House and Senate members about where we are. So that'll take place tomorrow in the late afternoon. And it's classified. So it'll leak, of course, because unfortunately members of our Congress don't respect classified information anymore. But I don't expect anything big there. A very unexpected thing happened, though. Kamala Harris condemned the action. Roll it.
Donald Trump has dragged us into a war the American people do not want. He has put American troops in harm's way. I unequivocally oppose this war of choice, and everyone should.
All right, now just keep this in perspective now. This is important. Ms. Harris is entitled to her opinion. But as vice president, she sat on her butt for 4 years and watched as the Biden administration released billions of dollars to Iran that were frozen, money that was frozen because of sanctions. Biden released the money, gave it to the mullahs, and the mullahs turned around and financed Hezbollah, Hamas, October 7th, the Houthis, and whatever other terror groups they could fund. That's what happened in the Biden-Harris administration. She's never, ever answered for that. Won't, can't. I don't even know if she knows it. I don't have much regard for Kamala Harris's intellect. But now she's condemning it. Okay. So you, lady, I'm sorry to be disrespectful, were vice president when an American administration for 4 years empowered mullahs in Iran to kill people, including Americans. That's what you did, and said nothing. You said nothing. Even in your campaign, you didn't repudiate it. It's real. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that gets me crazy. Okay. Now, the War Powers Act. I'm tired of it. It's not going anywhere. They've tried it and tried it and tried it to demand that the President of the United States, before any military action, gets approval from Congress. You cannot wage war in that fashion. Started with Soleimani. If you read Killing the Killers, my book, you understand that the Trump administration wiped out the head of the Iranian National Guard, as well as ISIS, continuing the Obama policy without congressional approval. Okay, that's what happened. And it's, we got a war powers resolution, war powers this. It'll never pass the Senate. You need 60 votes. Not happening. So you can run around on the talk shows all you want, screaming war powers this, war powers that, and it's going nowhere. You want to waste your time watching these shows? Up to you. The United States has not declared a war since World War II. That means Korea, 3 years, Vietnam, 6 years. These were undeclared wars. Okay? And the presidents did what they wanted to do. Truman and Johnson and Nixon. That's pretty stunning. So what the left wants is that Trump would have to walk in and say, yeah, on Saturday I'm going to go bomb Iran. So then Iran can prepare for the attack. Does that make any sense to you? Now, debriefings, okay, not mass. I would have called in a couple, head of the Armed Services Committee, that kind of thing, classified, know who they are, so they can be arrested if they violate the Classified Information Act. Okay? I would have given him, but Trump gave everybody a heads up, as I said in the beginning of the memo. All right, War Powers Act. God, it drives me nuts. United Nations, totally useless. Totally useless. Here is the Secretary General. Go.
Military action carries the risk of igniting a chain of events that no one can control in the most volatile region of the world. Let me be clear. There is no viable alternative to the peaceful settlement of international disputes. Lasting peace can only be achieved through peaceful means, including genuine dialogue and negotiations.
Yeah, well, you've done a really great job. 9/11, October 7th, you really did a good job. The United Nations is really effective. You guys can't even go to Haiti and pacify it. You can't even pacify Haiti. Oh, the negotiation. How long has it been going on? With the mullahs since 1979. Worldwide sponsored terrorism. What the UN do? Zero. Kamala Harris should be the Secretary General of the UN. Nothing. No, don't. Waste of time. 100%. The only thing that agency does that's any good is medical vaccinations for children, as far as I can see. That's it. The Pope, Leo. Okay, roll it.
Peace is not built with threats and arms. They generally result in destruction and death, but only through reasonable dialogue that's also authentic and responsible.
Now, I don't have beef with the Pope. That's the Pope's job, okay? The United Nations is supposed to protect the world. They don't do their job. The Pope, he wants peace. Peace at any price? Maybe. But his job is to try to tamp down killing. So I don't have a beef with that. And authentic and responsible dialogue, that's good. But I'm sure Pope Leo knows you're not going to get that from Putin or the mullahs. You're not going to get it. Not going to happen. But the Pope has to say that. He can't say blow the hell out of them. That's not what his job is. So there is a difference. The Catholic Church is not in a position to protect the world. It is in a position to teach peace and love. So the big difference. Okay. Summing up. And I'm going to get to the media in a moment. I can't tell you how this is going to work out. All right, I don't know. I can say, because I did talk to President Trump himself, one-on-one about it, that Mr. Trump did not want to do the action. He wanted a deal. Just like he wanted a deal with Maduro in Venezuela. They wouldn't do the deal. There was some urgency because they fast-tracked the nukes. After we hit them last June, yeah, we heard them. But then all of us, 2 weeks later, they were back trying to make another nuke. But Trump didn't want to do it. I can tell you that because I spoke to him about it. And we brainstormed about, and he thought he was going to get a deal. He didn't even thought these mullah was going to be so crazy, and now the mullah is dead, the Ayatollah. And if you read Confronting Evil, where the Ayatollah Khomeini's on the cover and his predecessor has just joined him, you see how bad these people are. I got to send a copy of that book to the Pope. Anyway, I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't oppose the action. I do caution the Trump administration to have everybody on alert for domestic terrorism. And that's the memo. Most people do not want a lecture when they are ill. They want medication fast. But too often, the system makes it harder than it should be. Appointments take weeks. Prescriptions get denied. Your insurance gets in the way. That's why more Americans are switching to all family pharmacy. If you already know what medication works for you, all family pharmacy makes it easy to get it. You order online. Licensed doctor reviews a request, and your medication is delivered directly to your own door. They carry everyday prescription medications, antibiotics, ivermectin, NAD+, others you will not always find at big chain pharmacies. So choose freedom. Choose the right pharmacy. Choose All Family Pharmacy. Please go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use my code BILL10. Save 10% on your next order. Joining us now from Washington is Jonathan Saya. He is the Iran program analyst at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. So number one, I did a lot of bloviating there on my part. I hope I didn't bore you. Did I say anything wrong?
No, everything you pointed out was entirely accurate. Of course, the Islamic Republic has always sought to gain sanctions relief so they can try their best to fuel terrorism, and they've gotten that under President Obama. Of course, we saw very weak sanction enforcement under President Biden, and that's something that's played into their strategy. And if you look at Tehran's attacks in the region, they accelerated definitely under Biden, again because they were not afraid of consequences. And of course, now they are. So, deterrence is one thing, and peace through strength is something that the president has been very vocal about. And we're about to really see the achievements that are going to come from that strategy, of course. I just wanted to point out one other crucial point here. When we talk about putting U.S. personnel in harm's way, we have to keep in mind this is a regime that regardless was trying to kill Americans. If you look at any American, whether they were murdered or if they were injured in Iraq or in Afghanistan, all through Iranian weapons. So this is not somehow some issue that just came out of the blue. This is something that the regime has been doing for years. And
yeah,
actually
but the difference is
into it.
The difference is that you have an American president ordering military action. So there is a subtle difference. But you know what's a real indicator here? Where's John Kerry? He's Biden's top negotiator with Iran, who failed dismally to get anything out of those people. He got nothing out of them. They got billions of unfrozen funds. We got zero. The world got zero. Where's Kerry? Okay, he's hiding someplace on Nantucket, I guess. It was a disaster. Am I wrong?
That was indeed a disastrous deal because Tehran got everything and we effectively, as you pointed out, got nothing out of it. We got no concessions. They kept their nuclear program. They went beyond that, and they were actually enriching uranium in undeclared sites. That's the first weapon for That's the first step for weaponization. And in return, they got sanctions relief for it, and of course, they funded October 7th, and that's really key. So if you look at every angle, it was a disastrous deal, and of course, this administration sought to get a better deal. But with this regime in Tehran, it is really challenging because they just want to play our diplomats. They want to play the political game here in Washington. So really, actually providing them with opportunities, them rejecting it, further legitimize this ongoing military campaign because we exhausted all diplomatic options.
Yeah, but they don't have any power now. They don't have anything. So it's just a matter of how much destruction they want to absorb, they being whatever council is left, theocratic council over there. And there are guys left that, can make a phone call or whatever, but they don't have anything at all. They're just helpless right now, or am I wrong?
You're correct. They do not have a functioning Air Force. They do have two lines of deterrence. One of them is the ballistic missiles that, of course, we've done a great job trying to intercept them. Israelis also accompanying us, trying to neutralize the missile threat, also going after the launchers, taking out the silos. Of course, we've been really proactive, taking out that number one layer of deterrence. Now, what comes after that is also funds of terrorism. Tehran has been tapping into its proxies, both in the region and, of course, in the West. We know they have an extensive network in Europe, not as much in America, but again, it's a real threat. So this is not to say these threats are not real, but is more so about saying how this administration has been able to effectively counter them. This was really the only US president that was able to meaningfully take the battlefield into Iran, something that no one has ever done, to actually put an end to this 50-year
Nobody
campaign.
else wanted this thing. Even after 9/11, they did not want it. And so Trump has stepped up. The outcome, of course, the press is demanding, well, you should know already. I don't know. Do you know? Do you have any clue about how that thing's going to settle out in the next few weeks?
We have a broad understanding. So we do know Iran's anti-regime movement is inherently anti-Islamist. If you look at university protesters, you look at young people, which Iran is a young population, they're chanting not only against Islamism, but also against leftist values. They see this, the Islamo-Marxist alliance as something that has destroyed their country in the past 50 years. So if that's any indication, we know for a fact whatever comes after this regime is not only going to be secular, is also going to be an ally of the United States. Comes down to how the opposition is going to lead that. And the Crown Prince, really son of the Shah, has done an excellent job trying to mobilize the masses against this brutal regime. So all that's really left is, as the president noted, for the Iranian population to wait until the bombing campaign is over, and then they can go reclaim the country that has been really taken away from them by Islamists in the past half a century.
But I don't think it's going to be that easy, because you have Revolutionary Guards still there, heavily armed. They're going to gun them down. And that brings me to my last question. When you see the Pope and you see the UN and you see Kamala Harris and you see all of this stuff, there were tens of thousands of people. I guess there's no legitimate stat that I can cite, but these are the reports that were murdered in the last month protesting against the mullahs. What kind of information do you have about how many protesters went down?
So the numbers we're hearing right now that have been confirmed by a few independent organizations are truly horrifying, in the tens of thousands, about 40,000 people. And unfortunately, that makes sense given that it's a population of 90 million. They have 10 cities, over 1 million people, and the capital has about 15 million people. And you're talking about a brutal regime that actually imported non-Iranian proxies, terror networks from Iraq or Afghanistan, just to open fire on the masses. But that is exactly why the average Iranian now see this as a revolutionary movement. To them, there is no way out but through, which is, of course, really reinforced by US and Israel military campaign that has decapitated the leadership. As you pointed out, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is a main concern, and the US strikes against them, against their leadership, has fundamentally weakened them, and that is exactly why it is very important for us to ensure that we're going to get defections out of these armed forces. And once really they see that there's no way out but through, we're going to increasingly see them defect, disobey orders, and join the people's movement, or, as the president noted, face certain death.
Yeah, I mean, you got to hold the people who killed 40,000 individuals accountable. And that, again, goes into the bailiwick of the people that are protesting all this military action. Very good interview, Mr. Saya. We really appreciate your time and expertise. We hope you come back. If you are a homeowner, there's no better time than now to call American Financing to wipe out that debt, eliminate the stress, set yourself up for a strong 2026. The Fed dropped rates for the fourth time in December. American Financing can help you access that equity in your home at an interest rate that's in the low fives. That is a much lower rate than the average 20% or more credit card rate. American Financing is saving their customers an average of $800 a month. There are no upfront fees, no obligation to see how much you can save. If you begin today, might be able to delay 2 mortgage payments. So please call 888-462-9557. 462-9557. AmericanFinancing.net/bill. Let's face it, the U.S. economy is under stress. National debt rising, trade war shaking the markets. And meanwhile, China is dumping the dollar and stockpiling gold. That's why I protected my savings with physical gold and silver through the only dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. And you can do this. Get precious metals delivered to your door or place in a tax-advantaged gold IRA. They'll even help you roll over your existing IRA or 401k, tax and penalty free. With billions in precious metals delivered, thousands of five-star reviews, and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau, you can trust American Hartford Gold as I do. Please call 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. All right, here is the final thought of the day. So we were supposed to resurrect the factor on Wednesday, bring it back, because Cuomo on News Nation was going to go to Israel. He couldn't get there because of the Iranian action. Flights are all suspended. So he's going to be back in his chair. I will be on Wednesday with him. I'll be on Leland Vittert on News Nation tonight at 9, talking about Iran, of course. But we will revive the factor. So News Nation said, look, we can't do it this week, but we are going to do it. And boy, I had a great lineup. Oh, hated to lose it, but I understand. Got to go with breaking news. So that is the update. We are going to revive the factory. It will happen on a special. And looking forward to it. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the No Spin News. And Bill O'Reilly. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today. Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News for Wednesday, April 16th, 2025. Stand up for your country. Exceedingly busy day today. If you could follow me around, you'd be exhausted. Just by follow me around. This is our last broadcast this week. It's Holy Week Passover. Giving my staff off. They deserve it. They work very hard. Now, the stock market's crazy again today. Again, I reiterate, I'm not doing anything. All right, it's up, down. It's annoying beyond belief. But to sell on a down, and I think it will sort itself out in the next month or so. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm doing. Now, if something happens Holy Thursday, tomorrow, Good Friday, or over the weekend, I will tweet. If you're not on my tweet band, it's at Bill O'Reilly. You can't get any easier than that, at Bill O'Reilly. I will tweet, all right? But it's got to be fairly significant that impacts you. But I'm always, paying attention, put it that way. Even though when I'm off, I'm not in some opium den someplace. I'm doing stuff, but I'm paying attention. And I wish you all a very calm, that's the best word, okay? Holy Week Passover season. Talking Points memo is about political madness, which is not being covered by the corrupt national media. So now the Congress is on a break, right? So the senators and the representatives go back to their districts. And many of them hold town hall meetings where you get to meet them, ask them questions. Okay, it's been going on since the Civil War. All right, people have the meeting, they go in, locals express their concerns to their elected representatives the way it was designed to be by the Founding Fathers. Well, now it's being corrupted. I'll give you the best example I can possibly give you. So Senator Chuck Grassley is 91 years old, a senator from Iowa, a senior senator, okay? He's a good guy. I've known him for years. He has a town hall meeting in Lee County, Iowa. Small place, rural place, right? And he goes in, and this is what happens. Go.
You're asking what I would do?
Yeah.
Okay.
So with laws.
I would welcome refugees and I would welcome people that need asylum.
Are you going to bring that guy back from El Salvador? Yeah. Why not?
Well, because that's not a power of Congress.
Supreme Court said to bring him back.
Judges are. The president has upholding the Constitution. He's defying the Constitution. You're on the Judiciary Committee.
Trump don't care.
If I get an order to pay a ticket for $1,200 and I just say no, does that stand up? Because he's got an order from the Supreme Court and he's just said no.
Yeah. He just said, screw it.
I'll be able to answer your question.
You ignored my letter.
Guatemala or El Salvador is an independent country. The president
Speak up, please. We can't hear you.
The president of that country is not subject to our U.S. Supreme Court.
Trump wanted to bring him back.
All right, those people didn't want to hear what Grassley had to say. They were all activists. They were organized. That wasn't organic. That wasn't the regular folks coming out. All right, so we investigated. That was organized by the Lee County Democratic Machine. All right, they seated that audience with all these activists who were going to yell at Grassley. Now, media didn't report that. I don't even think the local media reported it in Iowa. It was like, oh, yeah, everybody's... No, not everybody's mad. The Democratic activists, the far left people are mad. And Grassley walks right into it, and he's 91. For me, I would have cleared the room. Now, this is happening all over the country, as I said. In Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the congresswoman up there, had a town hall in Ackworth, and the police had to be called. Go. Okay, so again, same thing. These were activists. They were piped in there to attack Marjorie Taylor Greene, which they did. All right? This isn't democracy, because the people in Ackworth and in Iowa, the regular folks, they had questions to ask. But they're disrupted to the fact that they can't even get the town hall underway. Again, we looked for Georgia coverage of this. No, we had to do it. We had to do it. Nobody in Atlanta doing it. Oh, boy, that's the corruption that we're dealing with here. Now, a final kicker on the Georgia thing, they were bailed out, the three that were arrested, by the Cobb County Democratic Committee, bailed them out. Jeez, come on. Now, if Republicans had done that, they would have been fascists, Nazis, racists, you know. But the Democrats can get away with it because the press won't cover it. So terrible. All right? So just to reiterate, this is happening all over the place. If it happens in your town or your area, your county, let me know. Okay? Because we're going to follow this. And that's the Democratic Party at this point, right now. And that's a memo. All right, blood feud alert. Blood feud alert. Donald Trump versus New York Attorney General Letitia James. As you know, Ms. James was very instrumental in prosecuting Mr. Trump for state crimes in New York that, in my opinion, and I think most people agree with me, were trumped up, pardon the pun. All right, and she had one case where his business operation did something that nobody could understand, where there were no victims, and James was behind this. Okay, so now Donald Trump is president, and guess who's under investigation for mortgage fraud? That would be Letitia James, Fascinating case. So a guy named William Pulte is the director of the United States Federal Housing Finance Agency. Okay? And he has sent a referral to the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, all right, that the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, may have committed fraud in purchasing a house in Virginia. Basically, the case outlines this way. If you tell the Commonwealth of Virginia the house you're buying is your primary residence, you can get a lower mortgage rate. Apparently, allegedly, that's what Miss James did when she bought a house in Virginia. But it's not her primary residence because she's the Attorney General of New York. So now the Justice Department may file charges against her. Fascinating story. But this is really, oh, whoa. So, no charges yet. I expect there will be against Ms. James. Now, she today announces that she's investigating Donald Trump, the president, for insider trading over the tariff stuff. You see where this is going? All right. Revenge versus retribution. We did that earlier this week. You make the call on it. But boy, it's getting unbelievably nasty. California is suing Donald Trump on tariffs. This is Governor Gavin Newsom. It says that, hey, President Trump's unlawful tariffs are wreaking chaos in California families, businesses, and our economy, driving up prices, threatening jobs. So we're suing. They'll lose. California can't win. Number one, it doesn't have jurisdiction in tariffs. It's a federal thing. And number two, unlawful. Trump could do this. I don't think there's anybody in the country that said the president can't control the tariff situation. Come on. But they're just Gavin Newsom's doing it for political reasons, wasting tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands if they continue with this, of California tax money. Not going to win. All right, but again, nasty, nasty, nasty. Judge Boasberg, James Boasberg. Now, this is the guy in D.C., the federal judge, who said that the plane full of the criminal migrants going to El Salvador from Texas had to turn around and come back. And the Trump administration ignored that. So Boasberg now says that he has probable cause that Donald Trump is in contempt. Okay? He's in contempt. Again, this is a loser. Okay? Boasberg isn't going to win it. Boasberg is a liberal judge. Now, there is a study by the Hill newsletter, you can get that online, that said there are 200 lawsuits currently in play against the Trump administration. 72% of them have been assigned to judges appointed by Democratic presidents. All right? 69 Biden, 66 Obama, Clinton 26. Okay? 72% of all the lawsuits against the Trump administration are being heard by judges appointed by Democrats. And then they cite, the Hill cites District of Columbia as the most, 107, Massachusetts, Maryland, Washington State, California, New York. 177 out of 200 are in liberal states. Now, the Supreme Court has already sent a message that this is not going to stand, but they're going to have to rule on this. Because what the intent is, so you know, is for the Democratic Party, I am putting this in the party, okay, to create so much chaos that Trump can't govern. That's what the plan is. Sue him every time he turns around. But the Trump administration is very litigious as well. Okay, they are now suing, the president is suing the state of Maine for failing to enforce Title IX about gender where transgender men are competing against girls and women in sports, high school and college. So this is a lawsuit filed against the state of Maine by the Trump administration. It was just filed today. Okay? This is going to cost Maine hundreds of thousands, maybe millions. Maine doesn't have a lot of money. They're already losing money from the federal government. So Trump administration is making an example of Maine. Now, how will this go? Well, there's an executive order saying DEI has got to stop, and the Attorney General of Maine says she's not going to stop it. That's pretty straightforward. The states defying the federal government at the order of the governor of Maine, Janet Mills. So it's going to be in federal court. Federal court has to rule against Maine, right? Because federal law trumps state law. Are you worried about the IRS collecting and unsavory tactics by that group? Tax Network USA, the nation's premier tax relief firm, can help you. They've already negotiated more than $1 billion in tax relief for their clients. Their services include penalty forgiveness, hardship programs, which can delay payments until your tax debt expires, and lump sum settlement options through offer in compromise. Whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, their experts are ready to assist you. Even if you're behind on taxes due to missing records, Tax Network USA can guide you through the process. Tax season long over, and for the IRS, that means it's collection season now. So to schedule a complimentary consultation, please call 800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/bill. Don't let the IRS aggressive tactics control you. Take charge of your financial future. Visit tnusa.com/bill today. Okay, YouTube, brand new. It is Holy Week. We're going to analyze religious Americans versus secular Americans on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Bill O'Reilly. It is free, keyword free, and you will learn a lot and be entertained on it, so please sign up. George Porter is in Cincinnati. Mr. O'Reilly, Trump seems to be purging D.C., as he said he would. And my problem is he's hurting a lot of good people by laying off so many. What are these people supposed to do now? They have no jobs. Get other jobs. There are plenty of jobs in America. Plenty. So you're working for the feds or the state and the debt is too big and they've got to cut back, so you get another job. Capitalism. Nobody's guaranteed employment. This is not that kind of a system. John, concierge member, according to Stephen Miller, the deportation of Garcia was not a mistake. He had his due process in 2019 and a deportation order was issued. Since then, Garcia asked for asylum because saying he feared for his life, on and on and on and on. Look, I'm not going to get involved with this. The government says the MS-13 guy, okay, I'm willing to look at that evidence. But right now, one judge is adjudicating his asylum request, and the Supreme Court has asked the Trump administration to facilitate his return. And if the Trump administration doesn't want a war with the Supreme Court, which that is not good, it will bring him back. It's not worth it. The simple story. Not worth it. You need the Supreme Court down the road. Janet, concierge member, which means Janet has direct pipeline to me. Great Mother's Day gift, Father's Day gift, concierge membership to BillO'Reilly.com. Keep going, Bill. Americans need to be educated about where things are coming from. Did you know it is extremely difficult to buy a ball cap not made in China? Not for us. We sell thousands, Janet. Not woke ball caps. They're not made in China. My order is we don't buy Chinese stuff at all. Well, you want a nice ball cap, says not woke? BillO'Reilly.com. I'm on. There's little opportunity to buy American because our elected elites and our corporate executives sent American jobs abroad, in particular to China. We were given the cheap stuff and we asked for more. Okay, but now it's different. Now we got an active enemy over there. So you make your decision on what to buy. Rich Zine, Los Angeles. Bud Light lost half the market share following the 23 boycott, may never recover. Now the number one beer in America is Modelo, made exclusively in Mexico. That is ironic. But I'm not boycotting stuff from Mexico. I'm not doing that because I think that's going to work out in Canada too. But China is different. Jay Duke, Dallas, Texas, who knew that Harvard University had a $53 billion endowment. I did, but that's my job. Why then would they get several $billion a year given to them from the government? Because of research. Harvard does a lot of really good research, and then government pays for that. Robert Doyle, Brooklyn, New York. What is this I keep reading about Barack Obama getting $2.5 million payments in royalties from Obamacare? I don't know what it is, Robert. I don't know what you're reading, but that's insane. If you tell me where it comes from, I'll expose the charlatans. But a question for you, why are you reading stuff like that? There's no backup to that. But tell me where it comes from, and we'll go get them. Maury Hamill, Summerfield, Florida. Bill, any chance your old school Harvard will adopt the Hillsdale College model of accepting no federal or state funds? That would be the solution. Hillsdale, I admire very much for their independence in Michigan. And I know kids who went there that really like it. Sal Salvaggio, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Mr. O'Reilly, for the record, my wife now calls me a bloviator, thanks to you. All right, I'm glad I can contribute. Just finished killing Lincoln, moving on to confronting the presidents. My question is, how is President Trump doing on his first 100 days? Well, I will tell you in a town hall on News Nation on April 30th, Wednesday. And then we will follow up 2 days later with another hour documentary. Leland Vittert interviewing me, same way they did with Confronting Presidents, on Trump's 100 days. But between then and now, all hell could break loose, right? Okay. Killing Jesus, the movie, it is on demand. If you really want to know about the Nazarene, you read my book, Killing Jesus, watch the movie. Okay? Mother's Day, May 11th. Not Woke Mom Mugs and Killing the Witches Together. Best gift for mom, grandmom. There it is. She'll love them both. And then if you want the not woke gear, we got the polos, we got the tees, we got the hats. None of it made in China. Mugs, bumper stickers. Okay? Word of the day, do not be petulant. Petulant. Back with the Jillian Michaels podcast in a moment. Rates have dropped and it's time to take advantage. Many of us struggle to keep up with everyday bills, eggs, coffee, and end up forced to use our credit cards. But homeowners, listen up. Interest rates have fallen into the fives. It's nearly a quarter of the average credit card rate you are paying. American Financing helps homeowners like you save an average of $800 a month by tapping into your home's equity and wiping out high-interest debt. The best part? No upfront fees to get started. Credit card rates are insane. And if you are carrying a balance every month, you're stuck in an endless cycle. Break free today. Please call American Financing and see how much you can save. You may even delay the next 2 mortgage payments. 888-462-9557, 888-462-9557. 9557 AmericanFinancing.net. There is a lot of talk about government debt, but the real crisis is personal debt. You need Done with Debt. They have unique strategies to help end your debt fast so you can keep more of your hard-earned money. And they will not try to sell you a loan. They're tough negotiators. Will go one-on-one with your credit card and loan companies to drastically reduce bills, eliminate interest, erase penalties. Clients end up with more money in their pocket on month one. And they don't stop until you're debt-free. Take a few minutes. Visit donewithdebt.com. It's free, but listen, some solutions are time sensitive, so you have to move quickly. Go to donewithdebt.com. Donewithdebt.com. Tell them Bill sent you. Okay, for final thought. For some reason, I'm in demand. I don't know why. I think I'm a boring guy myself, but a lot of people want to talk to me, and I only have a certain amount of time to do it between the No Spin News and all the stuff we do on BillO'Reilly.com and all the stuff I write and the books and on and on and on and on. But I make time to do favors for people that I like. And Jillian Michaels is one of them. She is a fitness person who's gone over into the podcast world and interviews people that she finds interesting. And I'm flattered that I fit into that category. So this morning, her latest podcast, Keeping It Real, dropped. And of course, it was the Trump administration that she wanted to talk to me about. Go. Look, when I was in a meeting with Donald Trump and some of his advisors on January 2nd of this year, they were railing about Panama. And I looked at the president and I said, you see that paper in front of him? You write down everything you want from Panama right now. You give that paper to me. I'll go to Panama City and I'll get you everything you want in 48 hours. The room was stunned. He laughed, okay? But he knew what I was saying to him. He got everything that he wanted from Panama, 100% across the board, okay? So that gives you one small example.
We did. I thought that we were still negotiating Panama. We got what we wanted out of Panama?
We got everything there. Chinese companies are out. Tariffs to put our ships through are down. U.S. troops are there providing security for the canal now. 100% he got.
I didn't even know that.
Now, you didn't hear about it because
no, I thought it was a standstill.
The press won't. No, he got everything. And he got it in record time. And the press won't report it because it's a victory for Trump. Okay, and so there's a lot more in that podcast, and that's absolutely true. Most people don't even know that Panama pretty much gave Donald Trump what Donald Trump asked for. And we got special forces down there now. They're watching the security of the canal. But they're really there to stop illegal drug transportation. That's what they're there. So I think you'll find Jillian Michaels' podcast, Keeping It Real, interesting. I hope you check it out. It's on YouTube, Spotify, all of those. And we thank Ms. Michaels for taking the time to talk to me. It was a lot of fun. Okay, so that's it. I think you're up to speed with everything. Again, we will be off tomorrow and Good Friday. And anything that happens, and anything could, and this is just such a crazy news cycle now, I will tweet at Bill O'Reilly. And if it's big enough, then I'll come back in with some written analysis and we'll give you a signal that will come. And I hope everybody enjoys the next, 4 days. You know, I'm not going to do a lot. I'm going up to see my son play lacrosse. But I'm going to try to low-key it, a little R&R, that kind of thing. We very much thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We appreciate your loyalty across the board. I'm Bill O'Reilly. We will see you again on Monday. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.